There's a new name lighting up South Africa's track and field scene, and if you haven't heard it yet, you will soon. Her name is Viwe Jingqi, and she's fast, fearless, and focused. In a country that has produced legendary sprinters like Akani Simbine and Wade van Niekerk, this young woman is carving out her own lane, literally. At just 20 years old, she's already a national champion, a record breaker in the making, and one of the brightest hopes for the future of South African athletics. But behind those explosive sprints and podium smiles is a story of heartbreak, resilience, and determination that makes her rise even more inspiring. Born on February 17, 2005, in Engcobo, a small town tucked away in the Eastern Cape, Viwe's journey began far from the bright stadium lights and international competitions she now dreams of conquering. Engcobo isn't the kind of place you'd immediately associate with producing world-class athletes. It's rural, peaceful, and often overlooked. But it's also where Viwe's love for running first took root.
Oh, good start by the Dominican Republic athlete Alonso, going well now. Jingqi getting into her running, and the young Chinese athlete may be completing the three. Close for third. Vanida of New Zealand in the mix as well. Not obvious to see as we look across because they're 4 lanes.
Raised by her parents, Nothando and Zweladinga, Viwe grew up in a household that valued discipline, education, and perseverance. Values that would become the foundation for her athletic journey. From an early age, Viwe stood out. Teachers noticed her natural speed on the playground. Neighbors recall seeing her sprint barefoot through the dusty streets, outpacing boys older and bigger than her. What started as playful races soon became serious competition, as her talent drew attention beyond her hometown. Her family supported her dreams, and as her potential grew, it became clear that to reach the next level, she needed access to better training and facilities. That's when Viwe's path led her to Pretoria, where she attended TuksSport High School, an elite institution known for nurturing South Africa's top young athletes. For a girl from the Eastern Cape, this move was both exciting and challenging. It meant leaving home, adjusting to a faster-paced environment, and committing fully to her sport while balancing academics. But Viwe adapted quickly. Surrounded by driven, like-minded athletes and supported by top coaches, she started to blossom into one of South Africa's most promising sprinters. Her dedication paid off. By 2021, just 16 years old, Viwe had already earned her place on the international stage, competing in the 200 meters at the World Athletics U20 Championships in Nairobi, Kenya. For such a young athlete, even qualifying for the event was an accomplishment. But Viwe didn't just participate, she advanced all the way to the semifinals. Competing against older and more experienced sprinters from around the world, she showed composure and determination far beyond her years. That performance was a clear message. South Africa had found a new sprint sensation. However, Viwe's path wasn't without pain. In 2021, tragedy struck when her older brother, Vukile, died in a car accident. He had been one of her biggest supporters, a constant presence cheering her on. Losing him was devastating. For a young athlete still finding her footing in life and sport, it could have broken her spirit. But Viwe chose to honor his memory by running harder, training stronger, and chasing every goal they used to talk about together. Every race since then has carried a deeper purpose, not just for her own dreams, but for his too. In 2022, Viwe's name began circulating among athletics circles across South Africa and beyond. That year, she became the South African U18 champion in both the 100 and 200 meters, an extraordinary double victory that confirmed her dominance in her age group. But she wasn't done. Later that year, in August, she traveled to Cali, Colombia, to compete at the World Athletics U20 Championships. Still only 17, she lined up against some of the fastest junior sprinters on the planet, and once again qualified for both the 100-meter and 200-meter finals. Few South Africans her age had ever accomplished such a feat. Her performance in Cali didn't just earn her international respect, it also earned her recognition back home. She was nominated for the South African Junior Athlete of the Year award in 2022, a fitting acknowledgement of her remarkable rise. That nomination placed her among a select group of young athletes destined to carry the nation's flag into the future. But as every athlete knows, progress rarely follows a straight line. The following year, 2023, proved to be one of the toughest of her career. Illness and injury forced her to the sidelines. She even had to undergo surgery to remove her appendix. A serious setback for someone whose success depends entirely on physical health and conditioning. Recovering from that kind of procedure takes time, and for a sprinter used to speed, patience can be the hardest part of all. Viwe's races that year were limited, and frustration set in. Yet true to her character, she refused to let it define her story. By early 2024, Viwe was back on the track, and she was back with a vengeance. Her comeback moment came at the South African National Championships in April 2024, where she lined up for the women's 100 meters final. The stakes were high, the competition fierce, and the pressure immense. But Viwe delivered a performance that silenced any doubts about her future. She crossed the finish line first, clocking an impressive 11.23 seconds, a time that crowned her the South African national champion. Just like that, she went from recovering patient to national champion in less than a year. It was a statement to every young athlete watching. Setbacks are temporary, but resilience lasts forever. That victory was more than just a medal. It was proof that Viwe Jingqi was ready to take the next step, from promising junior to established elite sprinter. South African fans couldn't stop talking about her. Analysts began comparing her times to those of the country's sprinting greats, and many saw her as the next big thing in women's athletics. She had the raw speed, the discipline, and the mental toughness that champions are made of, and she wasn't done yet. In March 2025, Viwe continued her winning streak, claiming the U23 100-meter title at the Athletics South Africa Junior Championships in Cape Town. She clocked 11.60 seconds to take gold, reinforcing her dominance and consistency across multiple levels of competition. It was another crucial step in her steady progression, a reminder that even as she balances recovery, training, and competition, she continues to evolve and improve. Behind these achievements lies a world of hard work that the public rarely sees. Early morning training sessions, strict diets, endless repetitions of drills to perfect her start, her stride, her breathing. Her coach, Paul Gorries, known for his sharp eye for technique and his ability to bring out the best in athletes, has been instrumental in guiding her journey. Under his mentorship at Northwest University, Viwe has honed not just her speed, but her race intelligence, understanding when to push, when to conserve energy, and how to stay mentally locked in during crucial moments. It's also important to understand what makes Viwe Jingqi's story so significant beyond athletics. In a country still grappling with inequality and limited opportunities for young athletes from rural backgrounds, her rise represents hope. She's showing that talent, when supported and nurtured, can break through barriers of geography and circumstance. For young girls across South Africa, especially those growing up in small towns like Engcobo, Viwe's journey is living proof that dreams don't have to stay dreams. Her humility and grounded personality have made her even more beloved by fans and fellow athletes. Despite her growing fame, she remains soft-spoken and respectful, always crediting her family, coaches, and faith for her success. It's that combination of talent and character that makes her such a powerful role model. She's not just racing against the clock, she's racing against doubt, against limitation, against every stereotype that says where you come from defines how far you can go. Looking ahead, Viwe's goals are clear. She wants to keep improving her times, stay healthy, and represent South Africa on the biggest stages in athletics, from continental championships to the world championships, and eventually the Olympics. Given her trajectory and the resilience she's already shown, those ambitions are well within reach. Every season she becomes faster, sharper, and more confident. And perhaps the most exciting part? She's only just getting started. South Africa has a history of producing athletes who rise from humble beginnings to global stardom. From the dusty fields of small towns to the world's greatest arenas, stories like Viwe's remind us what's possible when passion meets opportunity. In many ways, she's part of a new generation of athletes redefining what success looks like. Not just medals and records, but perseverance, purpose, and representation. As fans, we often see only the moments of glory, the medals, the smiles, the finish line celebrations. But behind Viwe Jingqi's triumphs is a story of endurance, loss, and unwavering belief. Her journey shows that greatness isn't built overnight. It's built in silence, in pain, and in persistence. Every stride she takes carries not just her own dreams, but the dreams of a nation that loves its athletes and believes in its youth. So, the next time you hear her name announced at the start of a race, remember where she came from. Remember the barefoot girl from Engcobo who outran her childhood rivals. Remember the teenager who carried her brother's memory across finish lines. Remember the young woman who fought her way back from injury to become a national champion. Because Viwe Jingqi is not just running for medals, she's running for something much greater. She's running for the future of South African athletics. And if her journey so far is anything to go by, that future is blazing fast.